Grant Jones, Vida Homes. How are you this afternoon?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking me along.
Great to have you on board, mate. So we were just talking before, and you've just commenced operations interstate.
Yeah, big step. I joined the Vida just over a year ago when I moved my own personal build project there, and it's a bit of an interesting story. Whereas I was with another builder, and timelines and build prices and increases were all becoming a little bit of a threat. So rather than enter into the contracts there, which we've been waiting some time for, I jumped ship and decided to talk to Vida Homes, which we entered into our build contracts there in April last year, and all those homes are now handed over. So it's amazing what can be achieved when all I was being told was it was impossible. I've seen my role morph a little bit from just being, I look after the wholesale side of the business, like investment and developer relationships is the title, not that I'm one for titles. And we've just expanded into South Australia. So I sort of jumped across and joined the company in that role, and then have been moved into a board position, and then now, along with the founder and a fantastic team, just spearheading into another state, which is exciting. It's my background was nothing to do with building. It actually comes from fast food franchising, a brand that some people remember in Western Australia called Eagle Boys Pizza. Was something I brought to the state in the 90s, and then in 2000 I exited out of that, lived in Europe for 10 years and was involved in taking a franchising group from Australia and New Zealand into Europe, which was another experience of entering new markets. Did that for a few years, found my way back to Australia after getting making a couple of fundamental life errors. Came back and started again and found my way back to Perth. So excited to be working in an environment where I'm with a person that can see what you're capable of, and also with a team that all wants to work together. We've got an unbelievable culture at the Vida, and a lot of people throw that word around willy-nilly, but it's a fun place to work. We're defying the odds because we're building on time, which is something that the industry's really struggled with over the last few years for reasons that most know. And to be replicating into another estate, we had the exciting on Friday, we achieved our first sale here in Adelaide, which just lifts the whole team, because you go from having a written plan to actuality, and it's really exciting just to see the 6 on the team here lift. And we had a bit of a video thing with our Perth office this morning, and we all got together, and it was just great. It's very true that together it's amazing what you can do, and making the team in South Australia know that they're not alone here, because we've got this network in the office in Perth, and vice versa, letting the Perth team know that, hey, we're on the ground over here now, and it's very real.
So the word team keeps popping up with you as to how important your team is and how good the culture is and all the rest of it. There's a lot of business owners out there that struggle with team. They struggle managing teams, struggle leading a team, struggle with culture. What's the difference with you guys as to how you create that culture and you create that winning team? How does it work?
Good question. Personally, team's always been a word. I remember I was a Boy Scout, and a staff was a stick we used to hold as a patrol leader.
Absolutely, yes.
For being badly behaved. So I've never liked the use of the word staff. I've never liked the use of the word employees. I think, and hierarchy is not something that I'm that fond of. And what I really liked when I walked into Vida was the fact that we all sit in one room. Our office in Osmond Park, there's, I think, 31 of us on the team there now. We're all in one room. So it doesn't matter if it's sketching, estimating, scheduling, right through to design. We're all there together. Myself, the founder of the company, we're all in the one room. So we're all pretty much on one level. We don't have a receptionist. We don't even have a telephone number published for the company. It's like, if you want to contact any person in the company, the number's published on the website. That's the difference when you don't have delays and you don't have upset clients, and you've got a team. So so the word team, I know the analogy is always together, everyone achieves more, but it's quite often in my past I've seen it written into mission statements and might have been in, up on plaques on the wall, but it's never been a part of the business. And we live and breathe the fact that we all work together, we socialise together, we enjoy each other's company. And I think it becomes pretty evident if someone does join the team, it doesn't quite fit, and every now and then you get a round peg in a square hole. But I think what we've managed to get is a collaborative group of individuals that are actually very different. I always feel you've got two people in the company that think the same way. You've got one too many. So, yeah, we believe the word and apply it every day. And I think those that work with us, not just who are on the team, but also our suppliers, traders that we work with, and our customers, which is ultimately what we're there for, love the way that we achieve what we do.
So is that something that happens pre-hiring of a new team member, that you find a way to select the ones you want, or you've got a superior way of selecting the ones you want?
I think you can fake it till you make it, some people say, but the reality is if you're not genuine about your sincerity to the people that you're working with, and I think that flows, in the sales role through to the clients that you work with, eventually it catches up with you. And I think if it's true and it's culturally what you believe in, you attract the right people. And if you see someone that doesn't quite fit, they normally work that out. Even I'm not involved in it. We don't actually have a HR side of the business, but I'm not actively involved in employing people. But I've been there when I've seen people getting interviewed, and I think on multiple occasions you can tell by the body language when they first walked into the place whether they're fit. You know what I mean?
That's right.
If you walk into the room, there's 30 people sitting there. It's like rabbit eyes in the headlights. Everyone sits up. The way some people straight away break down and start talking and comment on the fact, wow, look at this, look at you all, is great. The person's really shy and inhibited and doesn't, look down and look away, and suddenly immediately think, oh, they're already uncomfortable and they're not even here yet.
Really interesting that you use the word attract. It's about attracting talents, and I've been saying this for years. Good recruitment is a 365-day-a-year occupation to keep your eyes and ears peeled for the right people and be the business you want to be, that's going to attract the people that you want to come and work for you. And I think that's sitting in pretty well with what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, very true. I think, to attracting people and attracting clients is a fundamental part of what our branding is about. And again, I'll come back to that word sincerity. You can have a marketing statement, you can have a mission statement, you can have signs on the wall and fancy brochures and all those sorts of things. But what I find in an industry like building, that what really attracts people to what we do and what I do is honesty. And we're in an industry that we don't have display homes. We work very much in a space where it's in the online space. If people want to see a home, we take them out and show them a home that's actually been built. One of the things I've always found ironic about the industry, that the foundation is on deceit. Like, here, you come and have a look at this beautiful display home, but everything you see, you think you can have, you can't. You see ads on realestate.com.au and Domain where it says from $389,000. Well, you can't get a $389,000 house and land package in Perth for the last 18 months. It's not possible. But then you ring up and you inquire and you find out, oh, it hasn't got floor coverings. Oh, it's got low ceilings. Oh, it's got a low ceiling in the garage. It's laminate. It's this. It's no landscaping. So then it's, I found that deceit was fundamentally, and not picking on any brand or any individuals, it's just what the industry is riddled with. So to attract the right people from the start, and one as clients, is just tell the truth, be honest. And I think that's a real, when we follow our socials and have a look at our Instagram, we publish every time we hand over a house. Here's when the slab was poured. Here's when the plate high. Here's when we finished our handover. We haven't had a home yet go over 12 months from slab to handover. And that's something we're very, very proud of, and we're very protective of as well. Like, I haven't had to put the tools on yet and go out, which is fortunate. Everyone knows what I'm like with tools.
Yeah.
But,
the same as me, probably.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's a little bit too much of a secret, but it's at the end of the day, the industry's been ravaged with third party influences that no one foresaw COVID, no one knew that the grants were going to come out. But there's also not a lot of people taking responsibility, which is fundamentally it was greed. It was, I'll just keep selling houses, keep saying yes, keep saying yes. Then eventually, builders have gone, oh, I can't build these, so we'll just make clients wait. And of course, when you build a home in 9 months like we do, you're even limiting the amount of exposure you can have to price increases because you're building over 9 months. Yeah. When you're taking 3 years, well, you're naturally exposing your clients to price increases and all the things that are happening in the industry. So I do believe there's a little bit of responsibility that should have been taken by many, that in hindsight, I think, you made the comment when we spoke earlier, if we could wind the clock back, I think the whole process could have been managed a lot better by many of the bigger boys. We're not one of the big boys, like Mark Tomasi, our founder, built one of the biggest build companies in the state, but we're very focused not on volume now. I like to say we don't sell homes, we actually build homes, and that's the thing that we just take the volume that we know we can manage, and we say no. And it's sometimes very hard in a role at sales where you say no, but I think that's probably one of the more honest things you can say than turn around. And I don't think it'd be difficult for us to go out and sell double, triple the amount of homes that we're moving at the moment, but then we'll be knocking on people's doors or making those phone calls or hiding from them going, oh, we're sorry, but we're just like the others. Yeah, no,
that's an amazing, unique selling proposition, isn't it?
Honesty.
Be honest and learn to say no.
Yeah, exactly right. I think it's good advice for anyone, I think, is learning to say no. But you're right, and it's easy to say you're honest, but being honest is different, and that again comes through your culture and making sure that you achieve them. I've only saw a bit of advertising for a builder group in Western Australia the other day saying guaranteed 9 months to get your home built. But then you looked at the conditions and it was from plate high. So, well, it can take a year to get to plate high. From plate high to completion, 9 months is arguably a long time. Yes. It's like what we get to lock up, and it takes us 8 to 10 weeks to completion. I'm doing my own build with another builder, and I've been told Christmas it's 30 weeks, and I'm like, I don't know where the time goes. So again, if I'd been honest at the start and told me I was going to go through a 2.5 to 3.5 year build program, I probably still would have said yes, because it was where I worked at the time. I was loyal, and the reality is that, well, I probably didn't know enough about the industry that I could seek otherwise. But no one's actually, through the experience that I've had, seen repeatedly communicating what's really going on and coming back with the truth. It's just, there's a delay in trades. Bang, that's what you get told. Then you're seeing tradies on the house next door. You're seeing stories. We know there's all the websites and Facebook pages of community dissent that you can read. But the reality is some people are achieving really good results and some people aren't. And sometimes they're the same builder in the same street next to each other. Doesn't make sense.
No, doesn't make sense at all. So if you had your time again in this role, would you do anything different?
I think when I came into the industry in 2020, I had a pretty bad experience. I'd taken a year off, wondering what I was actually going to do with myself, and I was driving Uber, and I ended up actually giving a guy a lift that introduced me to the building group I ended up working with. And so I rolled in 3 years ago with a Hyundai Excel that I was driving, or Hyundai, whatever it was, version. I was driving Uber, and I had about $700 in the bank, and my father was helping me out pay the rent. So pretty tough position for a 50 then 2-year-old bloke to be in. But that's, I think, why I walked into the industry with pretty open eyes and just hooked in and listened to what I was shown. I've got, I'm 55 now, so you don't know what you know sometimes. So the experience you could draw from and getting on well with people, I found really resonated, and I got really good results on the team that I was working with. And I think if I could have changed anything, it would have been just to maybe be a little bit more aggressive in my questioning of what was happening on in the environment I was in. because you just take the information that you're told and you believe it because you're naturally trusting, or I am as a person. And when I started to see that build times were just fundamentally blowing out, and just trying to ask to get an honest answer so I could share that honest answer in the process of talking to a client, you were just getting different answers from different parts in the organisation. And that's what basically, I probably really waited too long till I left and went somewhere else. But it got me on the journey I am. We moved our builds to La Vida. Those 15 homes are all built and tenanted now. That's been a life changer for myself personally. And I'm now in an environment where my peers can see what I can bring to the table. I can see what my peers can do. So I've actually learned to go, listen, one of the standard jokes is, to this day, I don't know what a hip and valley is. Sounds like a great name for a nightclub, but it's supposedly something to do with a roof. I don't know a lot about the intricacies of building, but I actually don't need to. It's more about finding out what someone wants and making sure that we deliver it. And there should be someone in your organisation that can do it. So I think, if we take the clock back a little bit further, I've got some horror stories. There's some things I'd really like to change. But I think from a building perspective, it's just been, I should have reacted a little bit sooner when I just, you start drinking the Kool-Aid and you realise this is no good. But that's just a learning experience. Yeah,
look, and it's sometimes the combination of going through the tough times and the learning on the way through that makes you the better entrepreneur, shall we say.
I think there's a lot of truth in that. And I think one of the advantages that you go, I follow Gary V, who's one of the outspoken, YouTubers, or he's across all streams now, and Snapchat and Instagram and all of them. But one of the things he, says that I've always got from him is this honesty. He reads it, and also is just that you've got time. And I think that's what we try and do. Everything in, I started working for myself. I bought my first pizza shop when I was 21. And then I ended up going on the journey that I did in fast food till the end of the 90s, and I achieved quite a lot for a reasonably young age. But I just the drive that I had then was just to do it all as soon and as quick as I could. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned is to sit down, look at where you're going, and set yourself a plan. Not a complicated written plan of 90 pages that you always get told that you need, but more about having a plan of where you're going. And I think the best advice I've been given, and I try to give to others, is an effective plan isn't a plan that can evolve or change really quickly. And we saw what happened with COVID, and we were kicked out of display homes. I was working with a group that had display homes. Then we weren't allowed in display homes, and then suddenly 3 weeks later, the government's throwing out $65,000 for people that want to buy a house, and it was amazing. And some of us changed and some of us didn't. I think if some of the larger building groups or even smaller builders had been a little bit more strategic and thought about it more, they probably would have got through it a lot better than they did. But
yes,
hindsight's a great thing. At the time, we didn't know how to spell COVID, let alone what it was.
Yeah, that's right.
And the impact it would have.
Oh, look, huge. And it's gone on for such a long time. The builders particularly have been hit pretty hard with it, but although it's hit a lot of other industries as well, very difficult situations. So one last question for you.
Yep.
What's the one bit of advice you would give to somebody starting out in business?
You've got time.
Got time?
Yeah, don't try and do it all at once. Just surround yourself with good people and disassociate yourself with those with a bad influence. You know who they are. You pretend you don't, but you do.
Yeah.
And I think that's I've been very fortunate to be mentored by some beautiful people who have taught me so much over the years, and hence why I like to make the time available to those who are interested to listen and share my experiences.
Fantastic. Grant Jones, Vida Homes, thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul. Great to chat.